Hi, it's Alex Counts again. I'm going to be starting a series of videos on public speaking for nonprofit leaders. And I want to thank those of you who voted on my LinkedIn page to do the series on this as opposed to some other topics that I was thinking about. I really always love input from people who see these videos or look at my blogs or other things that I've written. Now, on public speaking, if nonprofit leader, you're going to probably have to do some as part of that role. You don't have to be great at it. Be important that you be good at it or get good at it over time. It's just one part of your role, and as long as you do a decent job of communicating what you're trying to do, the problem you're trying to solve in society, and what your capabilities are to do that, it'll be fine. And over time, I think you'll get more and more comfortable doing it. In this video, I'm going to talk about a few things not to do when you're doing public speaking as a nonprofit leader. In future videos, I'm going to talk about things that you should do. But I'll start with some no-nos, at least in my mind. First of all, don't speak for more time than you've been given by the organizers of an event. They're turning out people to hear you speak. If they've given you 5 minutes or 10 minutes, take that, maybe an extra minute, but respect what you've been given. It'll help you get invited back. It will also avoid frustrating the audience, the organizers, other speakers who are coming later in the program. Second, if you've been invited to address a specific topic, address it. Don't just give your normal stump speech, even if it's in your comfort zone. Do a very mini version of it for 1 to 2 minutes at the outset maybe, but then whatever they've asked you to speak about, honor that invitation and address the point. And if you don't know enough about that topic, then you shouldn't have accepted the opportunity to speak in the first place. Third, don't read your speech unless you need to give something exactly in a particular wording, and even then only do it for that section. Make your speeches conversational. And speak from an outline. You know, when people start reading a speech, I think almost everyone just goes to sleep, starts checking their phone, starts checking what's coming later in the agenda. You lose people. Even if the content is good, that monotone delivery of the way most people read speeches is a turnoff. So don't do it. And also, if you talk and people are really responding well to a point, elongate it. If they're not responding, cut it short. That's easier to do from an outline than it is from a script. Fourth, don't use PowerPoint. It's a crutch for most speakers unless they're really good at using it. People in the audience, they don't know whether to look at you or the PowerPoint. They get confused. Unless there's an image that absolutely has to go up or some graphic, use that, but then turn it off and have the attention go back at you and what you're saying, not at some sort of a screen over there. Don't rush through your speech. It isn't about how much content you can shove into your 5 or 10 minutes when you have the microphone. A dramatic pause where you let a point sink in to the audience, that can be very powerful. And again, giving half as much content, but giving it in a way that is at the right pace, where you're also varying the pace is important. And lastly, as a public speaker, sometimes you're going to succeed. People will respond really well. Don't get too excited. It's probably because the audience was really into you and your topic. You didn't have to be great. You might have been great, but they'd respond really well even if you weren't. On the other hand, some audiences really don't want to hear what you have to say, or they've been irritated by things prior in the program that other speakers have done. So if you don't do well, it's not because of you. It's because of the environmental factors, at least in part. And if you're put into a speaking situation where there's something absolutely unique and new about it that you never experienced before. I remember speaking first time to more than 2,000 people where there were huge screens projecting my face on both sides of me. It was just unnerving, and I didn't do a great job. I didn't do a bad job, but I didn't do a great job because it was new. Another time I spoke in an open air stadium. It struck me as different than speaking indoors, which I'd almost exclusively done up to that point. So if you're in a new situation, one time I spoke to 5 or 6 billionaires in a 24-person dinner. That was a very new experience. If you, in that experience where something is totally new, you might struggle, but the next time you'll be able to do it well. So don't be too hard on yourself if you struggle a little bit when something is new, is thrown at you as a public speaker. Try to get better every year. And in future videos, I'm going to talk about some things you should do. In this video, I've talked about a few things to avoid. Try these things out. Hope they work, and I'll be coming back with more videos in the future.